Lana Del Rey.
Oh yeah, but Lana's more wavy like this. Like I feel like Lana's like literally like a human piece of seaweed that she just kind of waves around a little bit as like the currents go.
How's that a way to explain a human being?
What do you mean?
Hello out there. Hello, all you people who just drink a couple extra during the holidays to get through. Welcome to Drunk and Demonic. I am your host, Jamie, and with me as always is Peter. Hey Pete, how you doing, dude?
I'm fantastic.
Man, that wasn't dramatic at all.
No,
All right,
not at all.
So, like I said, welcome to episode 3 of Drunk and Demonic. Today we are going to completely dissect season 4 of True Detective, also known as Wild Night. Is that what it was? Wild Country? Wild Country. As you can see, we're probably not going to dissect it that well because we don't know that much about it.
Night Country, but it's
Night
fine.
Country. I forgot, dude.
Yeah. Season 4 of True Detective, Night Country.
Night Country. Sweet.
Yeah, dude.
All right, so let's get started with our unofficial sponsors of the night. Peter, who are yours?
I can't remember. I'm pretty sure I'm pretty heavily sponsored by New Belgium Fruit Smash hard seltzers. Tonight's flavor is Citrus Punch, because it's the last one that I have from the last time that I even bought it. So
have Fruit Smash.
It's really
it's the
gross.
Last one I have.
Yes. Have Fruit Smash. Your fridge is empty, except for that. Yep, that's a plug for sure. New Belgium. If you're looking for a sponsor or someone to sponsor, I guess we'll do it.
You ever got home sad as fuck from work and just reach in your fridge and all you have is a Fruit Smash?
You know what I didn't think about, dude?
Bad. What's that?
We never went by the Super Smash Bros.
We never went by it?
We literally drank Super Smashers all summer. Playing hockey, drinking at the bar. None of that. We never referred to ourselves as the Super Smash Bros.
Well, who are we going to refer ourselves to? Just me and you?
Oh, no, like just everyone. Okay. Probably Amber. Amber and Avery would be like, hey, Super Smash Bros. Are freaking
I'm sorry.
Playing hockey again until 3 a.m.
I'm sorry that I never let you experience that in your life. All right, so your sponsor is...
It's fine. We can do it now,
Smash?
dude.
I don't have a Smasher.
Yep. That's my lesser alcohol sponsor. My stronger alcohol sponsor is going to be Dexter 3-Wood. Apparently, it's one of the top 12 bourbons in the whole world. There's a little thing that came on it. I folded it up here, but I'll roll it out again because it looks pretty good. Yep, super interesting. Do you see that? Yeah, this came on the bottle. What do you think about that, huh?
That is cool.
Ultimate recommendation.
I can't see because your screen's froze, but I'm just gonna pretend like I can see it. Like
Ultimate Spirits Challenge 2020. It's not at all dated.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
All right.
So, I'll let you know how it goes because, to be fair, this first glass doesn't have any in it.
What's in it? Just fake? Are you just faking?
No. What was in this one? The end of... Man, I could go check the trash can. I guess I haven't really thought about it. I just kind of put it in the glass.
I'm just curious.
Yeah, I'm not going to go do that.
Just some bourbon? All right. Well,
I'll just think about it sometime, and I'll definitely like, oh, it's this. In like the middle of the episode, I'll just shout it out.
Just let me know. Okay. Are you hearing that crackling? Bombs, dude. Yeah, internet's going
Yep.
down.
Yep.
All right. Well,
I think it's all going down, dude.
Yeah. Well,
now that
are
we
you
got
gonna ask me
sponsors
what
out of
my
the way. Oh,
sponsors
also,
are you gonna ask me about mine, or are you just
I
gonna
was
keep
gonna
interrupting
plug
me?
one more sponsor. It's
Just
not
gonna
in
interrupt
here.
me the whole time.
You
Hey.
can't see anything. We are gonna represent Be Riverwise. It's a campaign done here in Steamboat Springs by the Sustainability Council that promotes not putting trash like plastics and cans in the water. It promotes bringing. They gave me this Nalgene, so I gotta plug them. It's free.
Cool.
So it's the closest I've actually even come to a sponsorship so far because I haven't had to pay for it.
Because they were just like, "Hey, you got this free." All right.
They're like, "Hey, can you throw all your cans in this trash can and then take this Nalgene and put all your booze in it?" I was like, "Yeah, I could probably do that." So I freaking did, and they gave me this Nalgene to do it.
Cool.
Sponsored athlete.
Interesting. That is so interesting. I'm so interested right now.
Jamie, who are your sponsors for the evening?
Wow, I thought you'd never ask.
I thought I might never ask too. It's a good thing you reminded me to ask you.
Well, fortunately, I don't have any sponsors for water bottles or anything. But my sponsor tonight is the oldest brewery in the United States, Yingling Traditional Lager.
Never had one. Love it.
And then I have for later, I have a Big Boy Modelo, but I happened to drop it. I punched it earlier, so I'm going to wait to open that. So
yeah, hold off on that
for all of us. And also, I will not be drinking whiskey tonight. Avery said I can't have any
tequila.
Whiskey. She said I can't have any whiskey. So you know
oh, you're grounded.
You know me so well.
Boom, boom, boom! I knew it. You son of a bitch.
I won't have any whiskey. I'll have tequila.
Jamie, who is your tequila sponsor for the evening?
Deer tequila, dude. Cazadores. I don't have the bottle. It's far away.
Cazadores.
The official tequila of Deer's. Because there's a shit ton in Jerez, Jalisco. All right. So
love it, dude. All right, let's keep rolling. What do we got next?
What are we supposed to talk about? I think we were supposed to either talk about what we did or what we watched. But I don't remember. It's been a while. I know last episode we said we were going to go to, you were coming to visit me when you were going to go to Helen's Bridge. And so maybe we could talk about how that went.
Yeah, let's talk about that. So,
okay.
I had a nice, fun little trip to the East Coast and showed up to Jamie's house, wicked sick. For anyone that knows me, I'm pretty much sick like 6 months out of the year. So this is not a huge surprise. So yeah, we didn't go to this freaking sweet bridge because I literally thought I was dying. What we did do is we went to Gatlinburg, Tennessee, which is quite close to Asheville, North Carolina. And I don't really know how to describe Gatlinburg, but Jamie put it kind of like Orlando in the mountains.
100%. I thought I'd never seen
it was a really
like
weird place.
I was like, man, I've never seen so much tourist traps around something so beautiful. And then I went and saw Mount Rushmore, and I was like, oh yeah, I want.
Oh, you've done that too.
Just kind of like that. Yeah, that also. That's. You're not missing much.
Do you think of yourself as a professional tourist? I guess you're not getting paid yet, but
no, I don't.
You're an amateur tourist at this point.
I'm 100%.
Hopefully, For Sharks Dude takes off. For everyone listening that is interested, Jamie does have a YouTube channel called For Sharks Dude. Check it out. He details. Well, you will.
Yeah.
You know, who knows? 5 years from now, when someone's listening to our 3rd episode and they're like, "Oh, I wonder what these guys do." You can check out For Sharks Dude on YouTube, and see all the cool beers and bikes and adventures that Jamie goes on.
Oh, dude, nice plug. Cool. That means I have to do something.
Yeah.
Right, so we did that.
It's motivational, really. Yep.
What else? So what else
yeah, pretty much.
Talk about?
What happened is that I showed up to hang out with Jamie. We were gonna go check out this sweet bridge. We just like kind of didn't do a whole lot except for get drunk and cry a bunch instead. So
yeah, we had a death in our family friends So that was a bummer.
Yep.
Also,
Yeah.
the plan was for you guys to get here at like noon, and you guys got here at 6:30. So
It's a long drive.
I know.
I thought it was
and
like 2.5 hours.
I
It was
told-
like
I told
5.
you guys how long it was. I was like, hey man, if you want to get all this stuff done, you have to like plan on getting here earlier. So I kind of assumed it wasn't going to happen. It was just kind of wishful thinking. So.
Yeah. Well, but either way, like
Yeah, it was still
there
fun.
I was like straight up felt like I was dying, and I think that I was as much of a trooper as I could have been
Mhm.
through that whole
That's true.
experience, because I when I get sick, I literally am like the biggest bitch. Like I literally like just want to crawl into a hole and like have no one touch me or bother me, and I just like want to like sleep for hours and hours. But man, I went and hung out with everyone and went to
Dude,
Gatlinburg.
it's so
and
great, dude. I think the official term for it is the man flu. I'm not a doctor though, but
That's
I have
fair.
researched WebMD.
But you got a PhD
In that ass.
No, nothing.
I don't remember that. I don't know what you're talking about.
It's a pretty huge dick, dude.
No, dude. We talked about how small my wiener was last time. Leave everyone suspense. If you keep talking about a big wiener, and
You
I keep
guys
talking
will
about
have
little
to
one,
stay tuned.
people,
Next episode,
my OnlyFans.
dick reveal.
I'm doing helicopters. That's my downfall, or that's my backup
It's
plan
no-
if I can't make any money.
I
I'm just
can't
gonna
believe we got
helicopter
flagged
dick
by
on OnlyFans.
YouTube.
Right? I have no idea why.
All right, I think the next part of the episode, we kind of talk about things we asked each other to watch.
Mhm.
I am 4 episodes through my dad Jim, my cousin Jim. What's his name? What's the show called?
The Truth About Jim.
Truth About Jim. Yeah, I'm not even that far. I think I'm 2 full episodes through, and it's hard to watch.
I agree.
I don't know why I can't stand it. I don't know why I can't stand it, but I can't.
I can tell you why I can't. I can tell you why you can't stand it.
Just go for it. What do you got?
I think a lot of. I just think that everyone is trying to like catch on or jump onto this true crime kind of wave, and everyone's making true crime documentaries, and they're all like 4 episodes, and and they don't have a fucking ending, and they're like, "This might happen. See you later." And I'm just like, are you fucking kidding me? Is this guy a killer or not?
Stay tuned.
I don't know. That just happened to me with.
And it's also just like, it's so awkward.
She's an awkward lady for sure on there.
I mean, like, I think like, you know, you have like the younger chick who like has obviously gone through some trauma and like is like kind of like reaching out and like trying to like bridge that gap and stuff like that to like her own family who has also experienced trauma, and like
I'm assuming you're talking about the filmmaker.
Yeah, the filmmaker. Like I mean, I don't know if she's like the producer or if she's just like the person that interviews people.
I'm pretty sure she made that documentary because it's all about her family. I hope so. Yeah, 100%.
But like, she's wicked awkward, and I feel like before interviewing someone in like a Netflix type documentary, you might want to like run through the questions a couple times and like, I don't know, just like make sure that there's like some good cohesion, or like, it just feels really like it's just horribly awkward, and I feel like it's really forced and everyone's uncomfortable, which is fair. It's an uncomfortable situation to talk about, but I think that like maybe I'm just used to seeing like highly produced documentaries, and so this one's like maybe like a more like, I don't know, not studio production, or like doesn't have a ton of funding, so it's just this girl trying to make a documentary on her own, but like it just feels really weird to watch it.
Yeah, I don't think she has a lot of funding. It's definitely not on HBO. like one of the home box office network, like the biggest
It's
fucking
on
funding other than
Netflix.
Netflix. No, it's on it's
I
on
didn't find it
HBO
on
Max.
YouTube.
No, it's not on Netflix either. It's
Oh, I
on
thought it was
HBO.
on. Oh, I thought it was on Netflix.
No, it's on HBO, which is also which Netflix is also giant. So yeah, she has tons
Yeah,
of
both
funding.
of the companies are massive. I don't know why. Like, it's just, yeah,
I don't.
it
see,
just
I
feels
disagree.
really
I think
awkward
it
to
was,
watch, and it's weird.
The interviewing was awkward. That was about it. The whole situation was like everyone was pretty uncomfortable.
Yeah,
How far
it's an
did you
uncomfortable
get? So
situation. I get
what's
that.
the end of the episode 2?
So she had just gone to like the farmlands to talk to the lady that is like I had finished for sure with episode 2 where she like goes, I think that's episode 2. It might even be episode 3. I can't remember. But like she goes out and like meets with the lady that's like the lady that runs the website that's looking into all these crimes of these girls that went missing, like the hitchhiker murders.
For the Santa Rosa killer or the serial killer. Yeah.
And then they kind of like end it with interviewing the lady who was at the like ice skating rink with her friends.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, you didn't even get to the giant plot twist, which makes no fucking sense.
Well,
it's just like,
yeah, I've watched it a couple times, but I keep falling asleep because I don't know. Yeah, I'm just not loving it. But I'm gonna power through.
Yeah, I
feel bad. I meant to watch it today and I didn't.
It's okay. It's not changing the world. There's no ending to it. They don't know if he's the murderer, just so you know.
I don't like it. Not that I don't like not having the answers.
The whole thing for you, so you don't have to watch it. Or do you want to watch it?
No, let's do. Yeah, I want to watch it. I hate.
Okay, so
I love surprises so much. I think it's why I like horror so much. So like, if you ruin this for me, like, I guess it's not going to ruin anything. I don't. Yeah, I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna do what I did in the first episode, where you're like, "Hey, don't tell me the episode," and then I was just like, "Oh yeah, no, it's this."
All right, so not related to this show, but what if they thought he was the Zodiac killer?
Right. Yeah. Not at all related to that show.
Not related. That would definitely not be the plot twist that I was talking about.
I can see it just because, like, I've done enough research on the Zodiac to know what the composite looks like, and it's not that far off. I can, like, literally visualize it in my mind of what this dude looks like and what the composite looks like. That's interesting. I could have seen that coming too, though.
Why not? Just ruin it for you. Yeah, I just took
Why
the plot
not?
twist. I just fucked with you.
Why not just throw this like, oh yeah, he might be like this guy that maybe murdered a girl, or like, oh, he was like supposedly raped these girls, and then they're like, maybe he's the Zodiac too.
Exactly. That's exactly what I
like.
To talk
what the
about.
fuck are you? Yeah, go for it.
He was also Richard Ramirez.
He's this actual guy that's in jail.
Turns out it was Pierce Brosnan the whole time. Being double I.
Thomas Crown.
Double agent.
Thomas Crown affair.
Yeah. So, were we supposed to watch
it was Tom Cruise dressed as Pierce Brosnan?
And that'll get you every time.
Yep. Can't tell you why, but it will.
I think that's all we were supposed to talk about. Was there another movie or anything we were going to watch? Was I supposed to watch
I feel
anything?
like I told you to watch a movie. Yeah, you were. It wasn't... The tough thing is that we've, like, full transparency, like, done a couple of these recordings, and I forget which ones I've asked you to watch and which... Oh, no, I remember what I asked you to watch. Lover, Stalker, Killer, or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Did you see it?
On Netflix?
Yeah.
No. I forgot. Okay,
we'll cover it next time. That's your double homework. I'll mention it again at the end of the show so we can...
Shit.
That's all right.
I'm so dumb. Such a dumb idiot forgetting that. Lovers.
But what I was going to say is that we've done a couple of these recordings and then have had to like go back and maybe this is like totally hypothetical, but like if one person, like, say you knew a podcast and like they recorded an episode, but then they got too drunk and they had to go back and re-record that episode, and they have
Yeah, that
different
was-
suggestions of things to watch
Oh, that was me.
than they
I
did the
that.
time before.
Yeah,
That's us. We did that. Hypothetically, we did that.
twice. It's gonna take us a little bit
So
longer
I get
than
a little
everyone
bit
else.
lost on what our recommendations are.
Okay, so let's just not do that anymore. So I know that I have to watch Lover, Stalker, Killer, and that's all the homework I need. And I think we
All
were
right.
supposed to watch. No, we're gonna save it for next episode too. And we'll talk about it at the end. Whoa, dude, sick tits, dude.
Do you see my tits?
No, this made you think what I did.
All right. That's
Okay.
fair. I'm going to end up taking my shirt off in a little bit anyways. So
Why?
why not?
Are
It's
you
just
Bert
getting
Kreischer?
hotter in here.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm the machine.
Is it hot there? It's freezing in here.
I mean,
This
it's
old-ass
not-
house.
It's literally snowing right now, so it's not that hot.
It was like
I
dumping
could
there.
maybe crack a window, but
It's like 75 degrees here. Yeah, awkward pause. Bless you.
Yep. Thanks, dude. I was just
Well, I
coughing.
don't have any other shit to talk about, so should we start talking about True Detective?
I thought we were going to talk about scary stuff. You got anything scary?
Ooh, not really. I've been
Okay,
watching,
that's
or
fine.
I've been spending a lot of time watching previews for scary shit I want to watch.
All right. So I'm
That's
like
about
a
it.
big fan of this because
Okay.
as like we've already mentioned, like we're covering True Detective, but like what I think we should do like soon is like start doing initial reaction to shows or movies, like starting putting things out like as soon as they come out. Let's be on the forefront of the horror news.
Horror news.
Horror news.
These whores sharing horror news. Okay.
The Doom news.
These whores. I like these whores better than Doom news.
Doom Digest.
So, like, you want to watch horror movies and then react afterwards about them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like go immediately like right into it and be like, hey dude, what are we seeing? What do we think?
Okay.
What happened? Especially with shows like, I've in this I've gone back and like covering True Detective have gone back and like looked at some of like some other either like podcast or YouTube stuff that's like people are initially reacting and like being able to like try to guess who's doing what and what's going on and stuff like that. It sounds like so much fun.
Yeah, it would be fun. I agree.
So
I watched a
I'm
bunch of that
pumped.
because I watched True Detective when it first came out, and I feel like it's been like over a month since it ended, and I forgot pretty much everything. So I just watched recaps. Like I watched all
Okay.
6 episodes recaps.
I was gonna say, did you go through the whole thing?
I watched every episode recap, and then I watched pretty much all of episode 6 again. So I watched it 3 times. Counting this time right now.
Damn.
Yeah, dude. I fucking love True Detective.
I do too. Are we just gonna go into it? We can bail on the scary part. I feel like we're just like setting ourselves up to just roll right into this.
Do you have something scary you want to talk about, and then we can roll into it?
Man, the only thing I have is just like an update on like weird fucked up news. Is that like, have you seen this whistleblower from Boeing that just randomly died right after he gave testimony to Congress and was supposed to show back up again?
I just saw memes about it. I didn't like read it, but I just saw it's like it would be crazy if I disappeared after all this. And it's like, oh, did that shit really happen? But I just saw it today, and it like do tell.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have like, there's like, honestly, I've gone through a couple different articles and there's not honestly a ton of news on it yet, but it's just like really quite obvious that this is definitely like a murder. Like this dude definitely was suicided by fucking like either the government or Boeing or someone that like has a whole lot at stake here, because he's like, oh yeah, we used like faulty plane parts because we needed to pump out more planes, and instead of going back to the drawing board and holding back all of our, product, we just decided to just use things that like we knew were like faulty but like would be okay. Lead 2, the other day we're flying home from Asheville. So we go Asheville down to Atlanta all the way to Denver, and
on a Boeing,
right about the I'm assuming Boeing makes like, what is it, like 95% of commercial aircraft?
Yeah.
Right around like the Colorado-Kansas border, we start getting like some pretty solid turbulence. Completely blue skies out. Like,
oh really?
Literally completely blue skies.
Okay.
And so all of a sudden, like, some dumbass, like, the plane's obviously getting turbulence, and some dumbass like rings this like the help button, and like this lady comes over the like speaker. She's like, folks, due to the turbulence that we are now experiencing, staff will be seated and buckled. We will not be able to come and assist you from now until we land in Denver. And like, this is like 45 minutes or so before we land. And then she like ends up with like, we'll be turning on the like, center row lights, as well as all the exit lights will all be lit up. And we're like, I didn't think anything of it, because I don't know. I didn't get too scared about it, but Amber's like, what do you think that means? Why are they turning the exit row lights on? Why do we need to know where the exit lights are? I'm like, I don't know. They just do that, I think, when they have turbulence.
Just for turbulence,
But straight up, no, there was something wrong with our plane, because as we're like, it's literally completely clear skies, and we're like rolling down to Fort Collins and then coming up, and we're just like getting tossed all over the place, like 10-foot drops like every like 20 seconds or so. Like, weird things are happening. And straight up, as we're coming,
skip this.
No. As we're
heard this, we can roll. Hold on.
You can transition so hard. You transitioned so hard into like an obvious segue into fucking True Detective that I was just gonna let it go.
What do you mean?
All right.
Okay.
So we're coming in. I can see like we're actually doing pretty good as we're descending. We're not trying to maintain anymore. But like, as we're descending down into DIA, literally it's like we're looking really good. And then like we're like 20, 30 feet up, and it just like drops straight up. Like, we had to have dropped like 10, 15 feet. And like, that doesn't seem like much, but in a fucking airplane that's fucking rolling that fucking fast and that fucking high, it was the biggest thump I've ever had in an airplane in my entire life. It like literally dropped completely, slammed, and then launched back up again, and then slammed back down, and then did it again. It was a triple fucking bump.
What do you mean?
Coming into Denver, dude.
Like onto the ground, and it went off like up in the air. And we
finally landed. Yeah, no, literally like slammed and bumped back up, because it hit that hard that it shot back up in the air. Did it again. So we went don't, and then landed.
I'm so stressed out right now. That's what.
And like, as we like take like, the turn at the end of the runway, the fucking same flight attendant jumps on the like intercom, and she's like, hey guys, welcome to Denver.
All right, so sorry we had some technical difficulties. My camera died, so I will now be in 720, so I will not be as pretty. But off camera, Peter just said that I am still actually as pretty to him, so.
Yeah, you're always pretty to me, dude.
Thank you so much.
So anyways, I'm pretty sure, I'm not exactly, like, we landed. No, we're going straight back into the story here, all right? So we landed, and I like definitely told this whole thing, and I forgot like a significant part of it is that like, and I'll have to check with Amber if it's okay if we keep this in or not, but like Damien's just sitting there the whole time, be like, what happens if the plane just crashes and we all die?
Yeah. What
And
happens?
he's sitting right next to Amber and just telling her this shit. And she's like totally freaked out by it. And I'm just laughing. But she's like not okay with this whole thing. She's getting freaked
Did you
out and
tell
he's
him?
just getting more and more morbid. He's
Did
like,
you tell him what really happens if you crash a plane? You get 10 seasons on NBC, and then it turns out you just all meet in the church later.
That's a reference right there, dude. That's a Lost. Bam, son. No, not when you land in like eastern Colorado. You just die.
Colby, Kansas.
He's just like, yeah, what would happen if the plane just crashed right now? I bet we'd all just burn up and die.
And he just thought it was hilarious, didn't he? And she's freaking out.
And
I love that.
And she's freaking out, and I'm laughing because, like, I'm like, no, like, I'm not laughing. I'm just like, no, everything's fine. It's all fine. But then, like, as we were like getting closer to the mountains, I'm like, she might be onto something here. There's like definitely something up, especially like they don't usually shut down like an hour. You know, it's a 3-hour flight, and they shut it down like an hour before we got to Denver. Something happened where like there was either some yeah, something went wrong with this 7. I think it was like a 747 or something. Like, I don't know what we were on. No, what do they list? They probably have to, don't they? With the FAA,
they have to, I'm guessing they have to report like what happened to the plane. That'd be like plane went down.
I didn't. I'll look it up and I'll report
successfully. Back. Turns out had half of its motor not working. Kind of shit like that.
Yeah, seriously.
Like legally they have to do that. I can't even look it up.
I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they have to legally disclose that. So you're right. I'll look it up so that the next episode I'll report back on how exactly this podcast was only 2 episodes long, potentially. And that would have been crazy, right? You could have made so much money. Be like, oh, my podcast partner died in a plane crash. He's also really into Blink-182 right now. And he's just like, oh, Damien? Travis Barker, he was in a plane crash too. We could be just like him. I'm like, I don't want to do that.
Perfect. Yeah, I don't know how much.
So that's my spooky, about, scary shit. that is spooky and scary in the last week.
Yeah, so you get a load of this, dude. This is what scared me. I like watched episodes of shows that were scary on TV. That was it. That's all I had.
That's what I usually say, and you give me shit for it. So now I'm bringing the heat, dude.
I know that's why I brought it up afterwards. I was like, just pretty scary shit.
Hey man, we can have scary shit happen independently.
Yeah,
that's scary.
No, it's scary. Do you have dreams about it at all? Like wake up like with an airplane like almost crashing?
I don't dream. I just wait. How was that? It was my Matthew McConaughey impression.
I thought it was Shawshank Redemption. I thought you were Morgan Freeman again. Like not again with this Morgan Freeman.
No, I don't dream.
At all? You just drink too much to be able to dream? You ever seen Dream a Little Dream? The 80s movie?
Oh, that's not even what he says. He says, I don't sleep. I just dream.
From what? Oh, wait, from True Detective.
What movie?
I don't know what that's from.
No, what were you talking about?
I'm talking about Dream a Little Dream. Are you that far behind right now? You're just over there in your own head, just like trying to figure out what Matthew McConaughey.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, I got stuck. I was all up in my brain.
It's Pete's Wordle, dude. I'm just living in it. All right, Pete, what do you want to talk about now?
I think we're ready to roll, dude.
Yeah, I'm sorry I don't have a great segue anymore.
Hey man, we had it, and then I had to tell a better, like, phenomenal story that I almost died. So,
how do we even segue into it? Should we just like pretend it, like go right into that same segue and repeat it again? That'd be funny. Oh, you're saying the Billie Eilish song?
I want to end this. All right. I think we should start with the introduction to the entire episode
we should
or
go
the series.
that Jodie Foster is pretty good at actressing. She should be in more things.
She could be in more things. She chooses not to be.
To kill aliens or something.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So, I just was like, what are your thoughts now that I was, I'm singing the Billie Eilish theme song as I'm going in, like, hey man, like I actually kind of like this one. I didn't like the bad guy. Is it on the bad guy? Doo doo boo doo. It like felt like a carnival song, and I was like, I don't understand like
Billie
why
Eilish
this
songs.
Yeah, for sure.
Those are the only two Billie Eilish songs I know, unfortunately. I know this one because it's from True Detective, and I know that that Bad Girl one because that's like.
And I like it a lot, but I don't like the other one. I just feel like the instrumentation.
That's crazy because you're a 36-year-old man.
Like she's got a cool voice, very sultry voice,
the spookiness of her.
But like, yeah, she's spooky for sure.
She reminds me of like a young Lana Del Rey.
Oh yeah, but Lana's more wavy like this. Like I feel like Lana's like literally like a human piece of seaweed that she just kind of waves around a little bit as like the currents go.
How's that a way to explain a human being?
What do you mean? I feel like that's like I'm Lana Del Rey.
Yeah. So how would you describe Billie Eilish then? If Lana Del Rey is wavy, what is Billie Eilish? Is she more of a curvy?
I don't know. I don't know enough about Billie Eilish. Like I said, like we really only know those two songs.
You know, I thought it was weird is I like kind of got it when he explained that. I was like, oh,
it makes sense, dude. Like the way like she wavy, sounds, like, she just sounds like she's a piece of seaweed that's just like in the current, just like kind of waving around. Like,
will you still love me when young and beautiful?
Yeah, all that.
Like vibrato.
I'm glad that one actually worked to you. So
spooky reverb.
Yep.
What a wavy girl. Hashtag Lana, if you're listening, we think you're wavy.
Hell yeah, baby. Yeah, we think you're waving. Wave back.
Smash that subscribe. Give us a wave back. Go onto our Facebook and give us a poke.
Poke it.
People still be poking.
People be poking.
People be poking. The original creep. Facebook. Thank you.
Yeah, poking.
I'm Mark Zuckerberg. I am not a lizard from a different planet.
What a weird thing to like put on your like, hey, I have this social media site, and like if someone doesn't respond to you when you message him, you can just like
give him a poke.
Hey,
where's my camera?
Hey,
my camera is now.
Hey, right here. I'm listening.
I think the only
waiting for you to freaking respond to me
was like my mom and my grandma or something like that. We're like, hey, I'm poking you. No, grandma, quit poking me.
No, don't quit poking.
All right, so Jodie Foster.
Yeah, I was just gonna like.
You're gonna start from the beginning, the first.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you remember from it?
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess.
Paint me a picture, sir. Like one of your French girls.
Do you want me to lead this, or do you want to lead this?
Dude,
first off, let's like mark it.
You're the leader.
Mark it
This
here.
is what you do. This is what you do. This is your part. You better fucking do it. It's your part.
Let's fucking go, dude. This is like easily the least introduction or like outline I've ever run with. So like, hopefully I don't fuck it up too bad.
Don't talk about yourself like that. You're gonna kill it. Go for it.
Hey,
everyone's counting
Thanks.
on you. Anyways, 19 people on our
on
Facebook.
This week's episode, we are covering True Detective Season 4, Night Country.
You don't have to do the voices every time. You do like doing these voices? Is that what you do?
Yeah, I'm a character actor, dude.
Are you? Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so
I don't act anywhere, but if I was an actor, I would be a character actor. I feel like is a character actor just a regular actor?
No, it's
Maybe
like
a
Christian
documentary
Bale.
if you're like a documentary actor.
No, character actors like Christian Bale or like Jared Leto that just like refuses to
Yeah, but
leave their
that's like
character.
that. But that's like method acting. What is a character actor?
Isn't that the
People say
same
that
shit?
a lot, and I don't know what it means.
It's the
I
same
don't
shit.
know. Okay,
Either way, who
method
fucking
and character
cares?
is the same thing.
I assume so. I don't know.
All
I
right.
don't care. Do you care?
No, I don't. Well, kind of, because I want to know.
Okay.
I don't want to show up to Hollywood trying to be a character actor, and people are like, actually, you're a method actor," and then and then automatically I'm just, excommunicated from
You're
the
too
Hollywood
old for
Star
Hollywood.
Walk.
I already did. You're too old for it. You're not 19.
That's not true. Didn't
you
fucking Harrison Ford start at like 35?
Did he? I don't know.
Every now and then I get these like inspirational Instagram things that like pop up like, "Hey, you're never too old to pursue your dreams." And they're like all these old ass people that have done things.
Yeah, I think of basketball. It's like when he's a kid, he's like, one day I'm gonna be a big sports star, and like cues to him in his 35. It's like, one day I'm gonna own a big sports bar. It's so true.
All right,
Here
Jamie,
we go.
initial impression of what'd you think? We're not going to give any ratings until later, so just like, what'd you like? What didn't you like?
My initial
How does it
impression,
compare?
I thought it was fucking awesome. I thought episode 1, like, I was like, fuck, dude, this is going to be just as good as season 1. And they're already like so many like Easter eggs for season 1 in it, and it's going to tie into it, and there's going to be so much cool shit. It had me going.
Yep.
And then
Yeah,
it didn't do any of that shit, in my personal opinion. It was like, oh yeah, you fucking want season 1 again? No. We're going to fucking make you think that that's going to happen, and then we're going to string you along for 6 or for 5 more episodes, and we're not going to do it. It's not going to be it. It's going to loosely have a couple ties from season 1, and it's going to have no fucking spooky Native American ghost coming to kill everyone, or the cult is not there that we thought was going to be. No, it's just going to fucking be some ladies pissed off that they killed Annie to cover up this shit. And that's it. They're going to make you think it's spooky, and then it really was just fucking humans, like it always is. So yeah, that's my initial reaction.
I like it. It's straight to the point, honest.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more. I think that one, like the first episode was phenomenal, and it created some really good characters.
Yep. Loved it. Every second of it. Just
but
rewatched
outside
it.
of that
great.
first episode, I think that I mean, and we'll get more into this later, but I think that the character development was significantly lacking outside of the first 2 characters. And I get that like they are the 2 characters. It's just like in, the first season of True Detective, which 100% is my favorite. It might be my favorite piece of cinema of all time. 100% my favorite TV show.
That's like your first tattoo, isn't it?
Is
the spiral? Do you have the spiral?
It is, yeah. Yeah,
Is
I have
that
it on my
taking your
back.
shirt off? I get it now.
Yeah, I'm taking my shirt off. You ready for it?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going. Here we go.
Circle. Are you gonna explain why you're just taking your shirt off? I can't see it.
Do I need to explain why? Can you see it?
Turn around better. Turn around. You can't see it because your camera's so
I'm
shitty.
on this like couch thing.
Yeah, so stand up. Okay, stand up a little bit more.
There we go.
Yeah, so put.
What? Why?
Yeah.
You trying to look at my butt, dude?
Yeah, put your hands down and then bend over a little bit. Welcome again to my OnlyFans. You know what spell for it, you idiot.
Anyways, folks.
So yeah, that's that. What is that?
My first tattoo is 100% the spiral from True Detective. The first season meant more to me than I think most things that I've like consumed in my life. as far as like philosophical, as well as I'm still like I think I've watched the first season like over. I think I'm like 12 times so far. I've watched the first season from start to finish. Spent a lot of my life just watching that show, and every time I watch it, there's something new that I'm learning and something new that I'm picking up, but it's still there. Like you can get it, you can find it where you're looking, like if you look hard. And I think that's where this actually lacked, is that they wanted to be, and you can see it all over, it wanted to be the first season all over again. By like hiding these things, but it never really, it didn't. I think that it left so much unanswered. Like the first season left a lot unanswered, and I think that like Issa Lopez, who is the showrunner, the writer, the director for this Night Country, loved that and did like a lot of really good things, but I think she tried too hard to make it the first season by like Easter eggs and like these like things that go unexplained that you leave up to the viewers like kind of interpretation. But what's different is that when you look really hard in the first season, you can find them, and in the fourth season, so far from what I can see, like it's hard to find these connections to the unanswered questions. You don't get, it's not a clean, tidy bow at the end of the series, just like it's not in any of the True Detective series. But specifically in this one, there's so many questions that don't have answers that it's kind of annoying because there aren't answers. You can't, like, so far I can't find them. And I've gone through and tried to research and find things that like just quite aren't there. And no matter how hard you dig, you're not going to find the answer because there's nothing that can lead you to it.
Yeah.
So
I keep thinking
my initial impression, I think it's the second best of the series. So I think obviously the first season is the number one. This is number two for me. Then season 3, and then season 2 is obviously in last place.
Do you have the scripted?
I thought it was.
Is that way I'm not allowed to talk?
Oh no. I'm just talking a lot.
I'm trying to talk. You just talk over me. I'm like, is this great? Should I just wait?
Go for it. No,
I don't.
No,
I'm
no.
just curious.
You go.
I had really nothing of value to say. I just kept, every time I tried to talk, you were like, no, it's okay. I really want you guys to know that I love the first season. All I was going to say is I kept thinking about Mean Girls, the movie, which is also a great piece of cinema, is quit trying to make fetch happen. That's what I thought about this whole series, is like, quit trying to make fetch happen. You're trying to make this
interesting
season 1, and it's not going to be season 1. Maybe you can be something different. Like, I thought it'd be really cool if they had, like, it didn't have to be the Colt from the first one. If it was like, I wanted it to be a Native American, like, folklore. That's what I wanted really bad.
Yeah.
And they painted the picture like it was going to be.
I mean, we can get more into this as we go through the episode, but like, I think that like there is definitely a very significant amount of supernatural events that take place in this series. Now, whether they are technically real, you were going to say something.
Oh, I just think it's all in, like, I think going back and looking at it now, I think all of it was just like meant to be in their mind. Like, it was all in Navarro's mind, like seeing these characters, like talking to her. Was that was the guy that she shot that Danvers covered up? Was the guy that was like seen so many times
in the Walker case? Yeah.
So that was the person that kept showing up in her brain. So the supernatural was just her reliving it because she has that burden. So I think that was where the supernatural came from, in my opinion.
I mean, I can understand that. I think that we have I'm just like ditching the whole outline here. We're just gonna freeform this because like it just makes more sense to do so. Like I think that you're correct in that it's certainly in her mind, but she's not the only narrator we get. I think that we have a ton of unreliable narration through this entire series, not just like the things that we're directly seeing on camera, but also like even in like interviews, like especially like in the final episode when you get the interview with Raymond Clark where he like tells what happens, but then they actually show what happens, and it shows like this really like, who do we trust there? Like obviously we don't trust Raymond Clark because he's the villain pretty much of the whole series for the most part. But you know, one, it's all perception and it's all how you frame things. And I think that a lot of this has to do with like the way that people internalize memory and how they reflect upon it and how it looks to them, as well as like obviously there's a huge commentary on trauma and what that manifests in day-to-day life.
Yeah,
obviously Navarro. Yeah,
Danvers as well.
And I don't like. Yeah. Oh, for sure. Navarro, Danvers. You know, I think that those are the, you know, characters that we get to live through. Also, but like at the same time, like Clark, like we get to like see this trauma because like I, at least from my perspective, totally believe that he was in love with Annie K and that he wanted to be with her. And like, yes,
Clark is the guy that
whatever
was like,
happened,
that they found at the end.
Yes.
Okay. See, I don't remember these people's names.
He's the final guy. That like they, you know, they find him in the cave when they're exploring at the end. But you know,
yes.
That was a good.
I thought I was gonna burst. I thought I was gonna burst because it's the one I punched.
Oh, you're already onto the big dog? I'm like not even halfway through this.
I'm a drinker, dude.
But anyways, I thought that it was. It's interesting that you didn't like it because you felt that it wasn't culty or supernatural enough. And I think that it is the most supernatural or the most technically culty out of all of the seasons.
Really? And I thought they played it like it was going to be, and then it wasn't. Like they made you think it was going to be culty, and then it really wasn't.
I get that, but at the same time, there's like, unless, you know, there's all kinds of weird things that could be going on. I think specifically, like, if you're discounting all of the things that people are seeing in the episode, the water could be the biggest thing that, like, maybe these people aren't actually, like, experiencing supernatural phenomena. They are just, like, literally, like, what they call like Mad Hatter's disease. They are like experiencing mercury poisoning and like having hallucinations and are overly aggressive, or specifically in Navarro's case, like, yeah, she's entirely overly aggressive, but like that's who her character is to begin with. So like,
I thought she was overly aggressive because of her sister going fucking crazy, and I think like the whole Annie trial, like just like revisiting the whole Annie trial was like she was sensitive to the shit that's going on with it, and so anyone that kind of like did anything wrong by her, she just started fucking breaking skulls. And she did it with Danvers' daughter, right? I don't remember her name, because that's when she went like and punched that cop.
Lee.
Yeah, she punched that cop because that cop tried to hit Leah. And I think Leah was like kind of following in footsteps of Annie.
For sure. I think Annie, that's like the whole...
Yeah. So that's where like she... Like that was reliving the tale of Annie in her brain, so Navarro like went straight to rage from that. I didn't get it from the water kind of thing, which I can also see why, because that fucking water was like brown.
Yeah, I mean, you see it in the early episodes. I think it's either the first or the second episode where, Navarro is in the bar and like where the bar fight takes place, and like you specifically like see the water, and then like later in the series, like even Danvers is like not a native person and is in like a nice part of town. It's all the same town, so it's like not really whatever. But like even she's turning on her water to brush her teeth, and the water's coming out brown. Like there's definitely something weird going on with. I think that it's something worth like. It's weird that it's never really established as like a reason. And maybe it's not supposed to be established. It's most supposed to be assumed. But like these are things that like they don't really.
What was a huge premise?
Let you know
the water, or like that's what the entire town was like fighting for, was like to shut down the plant because it was killing people and like killing babies because of the water.
Yeah, specifically like
about
the stillborn stuff, but like no one's talking about like mercury poisoning, which like maybe isn't happening. Like mercury is not necessarily from. I don't know what kind of mine it even was. Do you remember from it what
I want to say
what they were mining? Oh, okay, interesting.
The only reason why I think
radioactive material.
It's at the end they were talking on. Where he's talking about how their research was going to help end global warming. I'm pretty sure.
Right.
But I don't remember exactly. It's been a while. But I want to say it was plutonium. I mean,
I can't remember what the mine is, what exactly they're mining either. But obviously, the mine is pumping in a shit ton of like toxic material into specifically the drinking water. And yeah, I think that, you mentioned that like, so that could have an effect on the way that people are seeing things and acting. I think what you're talking about specifically, where like Navarro is in like such a crazy place in that one scene where she has to respond to the riot at the mine or the protest at the mine, because like let's call her a native. She's not full native, but she's half native and is dispatched to clear out all these native people. They're her people. And like I think that is why like she gets so aggressive, is because she's like, no, like we're here to maintain the peace. We're not here to start war. And like this guy was like fucking up Leah, and that's not what they were there for. They're there to make sure that like no one breaks into the mine and fucks someone up.
Yes.
So I think that like, yeah.
So I'm looking it up right now, and there's nothing explaining. It just is called the Silver Sky Mine, and it just says that people are covering it up,
which is like super ominous to begin with. Like,
yeah, they don't really tell you.
It's not blue. It's not Blue Sky Mine. It's not Clear Sky Mine. It's like silver. Like, meh. I don't know.
Yeah, so I think we just made all that shit up. Shut up, phone. Okay. Yeah, so I don't think they tell you exactly what the mine is mining.
Okay.
Wait, yeah. Sorry, I wasn't as prepared as I should have been. I should have known things.
That's good, dude. I don't know, like, so we can either keep rolling or we can go back to a formula, whatever you think. Let's just clip it.
Do you think that a lot of the aggression can come from the fact that it's like night all the time? Like the whole show.
For sure.
Yeah, the whole show is like sets place in those 30 days in Alaska where it's night.
It's like, it was one of my like bigger questions. Yeah, it's like, yeah, I think that the fact that like the Alaskan, what do you want to even call it? Like the outside, there's the town that has light. And then everything outside of that is darkness. And like the town itself kind of has a character, but 100% the like ethereal darkness outside is its own, like it's a character in the show.
100%. Because that's
it's like it's a bad guy in its own self.
Well, I was like, what? That's why I was asking. Do you think a lot of the aggression can come from that?
I mean, I
No.
think that human psychology in general, like, or not even psychology, physiology, you need like your vitamin, D from the sunshine. People like notoriously are like sad and depressed when they don't get enough sunlight. I think that is 100% something to take into account with all of this. There's also just like the darkness represents not knowing. And I think that there's like some really cool philosophical representation of specifically Julia, who is Navarro's sister, or Navarro at the end of the series. But it's kind of light out at that point, so I'm gonna like specifically go to like wandering into the unknown, which can certainly be representative of like wandering into death. Like no one knows what happens when you die, and like it's certainly like whatever you want to call it, like a cop out, but it's also like an exploration. It is, what is coming after this, what is out there. We are strictly stuck in this realm of living, and wandering into the unknown allows you to experience whatever else is out there. I think that was like a really cool thing that the show maybe intentionally did or unintentionally did for me. I thought that it was super representative of like the darkness is the other side of life, and whatever that looks like,
You're much deeper than I am. So I'm like over here like, it's dark out, so they're punching. And you're like, well, this reflects oneself and like the real big journey on what is death. And I'm like, they're punching because it's dark. So,
well, yeah, but like there's also that, dude. Like that's what I'm saying. Like you're like, your vitamin D is no longer being absorbed by your body. Like you are literally like vitamin deficient. You're going to have like mood destabilization and all those things as well. I got maybe like a little metaphysical about it, but like I think that like that whole thing also just it ties into like the entire essence of what True Detective is that it's not a show about true crime. It's a show about what happens after this.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, from the first season, the second season, third season, all the way through this, like you see this spiral, and like the spiral matters. I know that like they did, I think, in my opinion, a pretty shitty job of incorporating the spiral in this season. I thought that it was interesting in the third season. I'm glad that it's like been a little bit recouped, but like to me, the spiral has always like been this weird representation of like an exploration and like this venturing into something that is unknown. You're going outwards or you're going inwards, but like the spiral doesn't start or end anywhere. It continues, and like this doesn't end when life ends. You continue to, whether it's you believe that like your soul is a thing and your energy becomes energy that goes out into other things, or you become worm food that gets pooped out, and all of a sudden you are sprouting mushrooms that get consumed by something else that allows someone to experience something or whatever. Like being interconnected, and that like our temporal being in this vessel is not the end of the road. I guess I think that's here. Something that
we're all just here for the lizard people's entertainment. We're giving them life.
It could be.
Ask Mark Zuckerberg.
It could be, but I don't believe that.
I'm just making a joke, dude. Sorry. All right. So Let's go to your formula, dude. You wrote up
My
your
formula?
pages, your agenda.
I
You kept
did.
talking
I
about your
did.
agenda. Let's hear it,
Yeah.
dude. We can go off the rails
All
and
right.
we can do agenda
Well,
too.
we were
This
just
is
gonna do
our
like,
fucking show, dude. It's gonna
yeah.
be us
So
and our family that's gonna
I'm just
listen
gonna
to
run
this,
through
so.
just a quick like. Let me know if I fuck something up here and there, but like it's pretty much what happens in this series. I'm gonna do like a 1 minute run through. Is that
Okay.
these scientists are found dead
Mm-hmm.
and frozen for the most part. One of them's not dead, but like found
know
out
that.
in the middle of fucking the darkness in the fucking Alaskan tundra. We have two detectives, Elizabeth Danvers and Evangeline Navarro, who are investigating this crime. They find this connection between the missing scientists and this old case of a native woman named Annie K, or Annie Sukotak. And it's like they find the connection between like from this like missing tongue that is weirdly found at this science lab where all the scientists go disappearing from. A whole bunch of things happen in the meantime. Eventually they track down, they go from like lead to lead to lead. Eventually they find this one guy who is a former employee of the science lab. He leads them to another guy who is now a drug addict who knows these maps of these like these underground caves, and that's where like they find that this Annie K was murdered at. So they track this guy down. He's eventually killed by the head of police, who is eventually or like immediately killed by his own son. And then our two true detectives go and find the caves. They find this weird like underground laboratory where they are extracting biomaterial, I guess, from the permafrost in Alaska. And this and they're also they find this missing scientist who was not found in this weird clump of frozen men.
It's called the
From
corpsicle.
the earlier.
The corpsicle.
Yeah, the corpsicle. Yep, that's gross. But anyways, so they find this guy, and he pretty much tells what happened. Not to Annie K. He explains that like she found out what they were up to, and what they were up to was pretty much paying off the mine to generate or like to over pollute the atmosphere so that it softened the layers of the permafrost so that they could get to this biomaterial that they were collecting. And they were fudging the numbers to make it seem like it was totally fine that the mine was what numbers of pollution the mine was putting out were totally fine. Spoiler, the end of the series, the viewer is meant to believe happens is that the cleaning ladies, who are all native people and friends of Annie, who is the murdered woman, show up to the Salal laboratory and march out all of the men into the tundra and pretty much tell them like, hey, if you're meant to live, you'll live. If you're meant to die, you'll fucking die. They are stripped naked and pretty much sent out into the beyond. And they, for the most part, I think they all die actually.
Next to each
because
other. Yeah,
the
they
one
like
guy
huddle
doesn't
up.
die initially, but he dies eventually. Raymond Lund doesn't die, or not Raymond Lund, but the Lund guy. He doesn't die initially, but he definitely dies later. Who was like the lead on the whole science lab.
So things
after that, pretty much everyone's happy at the end of the show. We'll talk about what actually happens with Navarro because it's a little ambiguous. And Danvers and her daughter get along again, and everything's, for the most part, like, cool. I think that's like how I'd end the episode.
Right now?
Like the mini no, like the mini recap of like
Yeah. I was like, okay.
Yeah, I guess we're
See you
done.
later. So things that I guess the biggest thing that bothered me is maybe you caught it, but I didn't, was why the fuck was Ferris Bueller's playing so much? Was there like a meaning for that? And she like fucking she's like,
yeah,
Danvers said, I fucking hate this song. And then they explain it like that song.
Yeah,
was
she
like
says that she doesn't like the Beatles. Yeah.
It reminded her of her
That's
dead
pretty
son.
much what I reminded her of her dead son. It also reminded her of her, I think they have a scene that's either her wedding or it's just in their house. I can't remember. Her and her husband are dancing to Twist and Shout.
That's what it was.
But like, yep. So she's definitely dealing with like some significant, traumatic experiences throughout the rest of this series. But I think that that's like the significant reason for why she like in the first episode is just like losing her mind over this song. And it perks your interest because you're like, what the fuck is up with her in this song? Because it doesn't make any sense.
And they play it a lot.
Yeah. Oh, it's just on repeat. I think it's a YouTube video that they're watching. Yeah.
No, it's a tape. They're watching Ferris Bueller, and it's stuck on that part, which I've never known for a tape to be stuck and repeat itself. But maybe it was a DVD.
Yeah, man, that's what I'm talking about. Like, there's some weird things that are going on. Like, I know that like you're disappointed in the supernatural aspects, but I think that there are definitely. I think why I liked this season more than I think I wanted to, because like, I don't know, I'm this kind of person that like, I love these like weird magical things. Like the world maybe isn't exactly how we see it. And, there's other things out there that are having influence on the things that we see day to day. And I think that this season did a very good job of not explaining it, but presenting it as such and saying, hey, there's things out there that we don't know.
Okay.
And they make things happen.
And they bother you, like the reason, like triggering things. Yeah, I get that. So,
do you have a single episode that was like the big deal?
Yeah, episode 1.
Like your favorite episode, the big one?
Yeah.
Which one was the best one?
Episode 1.
Episode 1?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to say episode 5, because what the fuck?
Because he shoots him.
The way that it ends?
Yeah,
dude. That was like, I don't know why I didn't see it coming, but I straight up did not. I was like, no fucking way. He just shot his dad.
For what
and like
reason?
the whole
because he found out that his dad actually did like move Annie's body.
Well, but like I think the biggest reason was I think so Hank is Pete's dad, and Pete is the one that obviously shoots Hank. They listened to like interviews with the actual actor. I can't remember what his name is. My apologies. But he said that like literally as they were shooting that scene, he's like, oh no, like it was intentionally meant, like Hank's character was meant to fake my character out to shoot him, because he had lost everything. He's got his like non-show up mail order bride. He has nothing left, and he's testing to see if his kid, like all he has left is his kid, who he has been pretty awful to his entire life. And it's just like a push a button to see if it's still there. And the character was, or the guy that acted that was like, oh no, like if you watch the scene, it was intentionally shot this way that Hank pulls the gun, but doesn't even have a hand on the trigger, just pulls the gun up. He's not even trying to actually kill Danvers. He's it's, whatever you want to call it, assisted suicide or whatever. He's very much like, hey, like, I don't care anymore. I'm ready to go. And this is how it will end for me.
Did you notice that song that he was singing, the start of it, the lyrics for the song that Hank was singing at the beginning of that episode talks about how in the end he'll die. Like the whole thing starts out about his death when he's like sitting there playing that song on a guitar. Oh, that makes sense.
I didn't go back and listen to the song, but he wrote that song for that episode, that character or that guy.
Hank, good on you, Hank.
It's an original song. For that episode, and it's so funny because like the whole story of like Hank is like, oh yeah, he's like this like washed up dude that wanted to be like a rock star and like was just never quite good enough, and like legitimately, like, not that the actor's washed up, he's making a fuck ton of money, but like he was found, like, or not found, he's an actor, but he played that song at a show that in the middle of the filming of this, like of Night Country, his band booked a show, and so they filmed all of this in Iceland. So in Reykjavik, his band went there and played a show, and the whole cast and crew went to the show, and Issa Lopez, the showrunner, the director and writer of it, went to the show and was like, oh yeah, we're going to use that song for this episode. So it wasn't even like written in, and yeah. So, and then he just went.
So he wrote
on
it
and
for
just
that show, though.
Performed it acoustically. No,
she just heard that song.
He wrote it.
Yeah,
he wrote it, but it was for his band, not necessarily. I think not necessarily for his show, but for his band. He wrote it.
Oh, I thought he wrote it for the show. That's so cool.
I could be mistaken there, but I'm pretty sure he wrote it.
That was
as just a song for his band to play. And
I was like, hey, man, did you think it was crazy about that song? You're like, actually, I researched that song. Cool.
Yeah. So why do you like the first episode so much?
Because I thought it like literally built up what the season was going to be like, and I thought it was going to. It made me really think that it was going to be just as good as season one. Because they had like all the attributes. They were definitely like tying shit together. Like they show you the spiral. You're like, okay,
sure. But like in season one, still like nothing is really like. There's no like. There's like a cult kind of, but it's just a bunch of people raping people. Like, it's not anything special. There's no supernatural.
Yeah, I don't know. They just made me really excited, and like made me think it was going to be just as good, because I thought the way that they built up that first episode, that it was going to be an awesome season. Which it was. I think I just made my expectations a little too high, or they just kind of made episodes 2, 3, and 4 just a little too slow.
I think that that's definitely true. I think that there was a lot of like non-movement. I think that like in the first season, you kind of had like 2 stages of development. You go through the early stages and then you go through the later stages, and like they both have like this huge climax to them. And like none of the other True Detectives have done that. Because in the first one, there's like the as it's happening, and then there's like the 20 years later, or however long it is later, actually going out and hunting down this guy.
That is true. Maybe it just thinks that like I hadn't watched something that like intense in a while, that really like got my attention. And so maybe I just hyped it up a shit ton.
Yeah, for sure. But I think that like in both a good and a bad way, they took the first season and like turned it on its head to where they took like the experience of like these two men in the first season and kind of a little bit like, you know, this was obviously like a very female driven show from start to finish. You have your detectives are female. I think that like you have extremely strong female characters throughout the show. You know, there's, you know, I guess again, even in the first season, the bad guy was still a male, so it makes sense that it's kind of a male again. I guess though, like the mine owner, I guess is technically a female, and she definitely had a whole lot to do with like all the weird shit. But I wouldn't say that like she's technically like the antagonist of the show.
No, I didn't really think
But
there was.
I thought that it was really cool.
Yeah. Whoever killed
I thought it was
Annie
cool that they were
it.
able to, make it like female oriented. I get that, like, you know, like that's, you know, we need some representation like that, because like I think of a detective movie and I like literally, other than like maybe like Girl with the Dragon Tattoo or something like that, like I'm trying to think of like a strong female lead in a detective show, and like there aren't any.
Not, what do you mean, dude? Was it? There's Melissa McCarthy in that movie where she was a cop.
I wish you didn't even say that.
There's where's that? What's the one where Sandra Bullock's a cop, dude?
Oh, dude, Murder by Numbers.
Yeah, is
that one's sick? Also, Insomnia. Oh, what is her name in that?
I thought Insomnia was
with
like
Al Pacino
Al Pacino and Robin Williams. That's also
not Robin Williams. Yeah,
it wasn't.
But there's a detective in that is Hilary Swank is in that, and she's also a detective that.
Yeah. I thought she was a boxer.
You just don't see a lot of.
See what I did there? It's a segue.
I get it,
dude.
No, it's a segue.
There, right fucking there, dude. Second person in Insomnia. First person.
Yep.
Al Pacino.
Speaking of boxers that are female,
second person listed in this movie, Robin Williams. I was right. You made me think I was wrong. And then Hilary Swank. Yeah, Robin Williams is definitely in that movie.
Oh, I guess you're right. Damn. Okay.
According to IMDb, I am definitely right. The movie is listed as a hard-broiled detective movie, and then a drama.
Speaking of female boxers that are,
yes, go on.
You know, whatever. The second lead in this TV show is Callie Reese, who I think did a phenomenal job as Evangeline Navarro. It's her first acting gig. Did you know that? Yep. Or like her first major. I guess she's been in some minor production stuff. She's a fucking heavyweight boxer.
Oh, really? That's why you were like, speaking of boxers, and that you held on to that one.
No.
After I was like, hey, I want to prove you wrong. You're like,
Chick is a straight up badass, dude.
She looks like she
it's
could
like
someone up. Yeah. Where do you think they found her?
Yeah, dude. She's so I mean, like I said, like it's not her first like ever performance, but her first obviously like breakout. Like she will 100% be a big deal out of this show. Like this is definitely a breakout performance for her.
Hopefully.
And I think that she did like a fucking kick-ass job as this like tormented but like hard ass fucking cop.
Yeah, she scared the shit out of me.
Yep.
Was she like watching and really bang that?
I mean,
dude?
I know you mentioned like. Yep. She doesn't give a fuck, dude.
No.
I mean, she gives a fuck.
She gives a fuck to fuck.
She takes one too.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, no, I don't know if that sounds bad.
No. Way to go.
I don't know.
All right, what were you gonna say?
I don't know. I was just like, what do we think of our characters? Like in the whole series, like Jodie Foster plays Liz Danvers, the primary character. I think
I fucking hated her, and she was annoying. So I thought Jodie
Yeah.
Foster did a really good job of being a cop, an annoying cop that I didn't like. So
Yeah. I
was like,
think
that's
that
good
it's
acting.
worth mentioning that, yeah, she initially was like, the way that the script was written is that she was the lead on the case, and like was like the central primary character, and working with Issa Lopez, like developed the character of Evangeline Navarro, who is played by Callie Reese. She like sat down and was like, no, like this needs to be more centered on like a native figure. You need to have like this person. Like I've done the main character thing before. Let's focus on this person. And maybe that took away from the show, I guess. I don't really know. But I think that like she literally sat down with the writer and was like, no, make my character shittier and her character more well-rounded and better. And I think that like is huge coming from an actress like her.
Mm-hmm.
But like it just shows like she knows what she's doing, maybe more than anyone else in the show.
Yeah, for sure.
Like she was such a bitch for like all these things, and we talked about it earlier where like the daughter is like involved with these riots and stuff like that, and she's like, you know, disciplining her for that, and like, you know, getting upset that she's, you know, identifying with her native traditions and stuff like that. But like, as shitty as she is, she makes like, she's a great character and really well rounded because she has reasons for what she's doing. Like, no question, she's trying to protect her daughter from ending up in the same similar fate as Annie K.
No, 100%.
And maybe has some resentment towards natives because her husband died and was a native, and now she's just living amongst natives that fucking hate her.
I really thought that the reason why she was like so hard on her daughter being like that, like protester, is because she didn't want her to die and turn out like Annie K. Like I think that's why
Correct.
she made her like.
I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah. All right.
Before we move on, I do have to ask. So we have these two main characters,
Right.
Jodie
Hold on real
Foster
quick.
and
I gotta go let the dog out.
Yep.
Can we pause real quick for a second?
Yeah, you're good. Yep. I'm running the bathroom.
Okay, heard chef. Mark. Did the dog run in? Did you see her? Did you see her come
What's up?
inside? Did you
No,
see
I
the
didn't
dog
see
run?
it.
Okay.
No,
I assume she's in
I
there.
missed it.
Okay. She's like, I don't know where the dog is.
I don't remember where exactly we were. Where were we?
I don't either. I'm sorry.
Oh, no. Okay. I got you. I know exactly where we were actually.
Okay.
Mostly because I just have it here.
Oh.
Ready to clip it?
Yep.
All right. So like, I guess the main question that I have is like, we have these two really good characters, I think, for the most part, really fleshed out, quite developed. We get to understand them.
Mhm.
And Navarro and Devers, Danvers. Who's your favorite character in the whole show? And do we think that, like, in my opinion, there's a lot of characters that are really lacking. But start with like, who's your favorite?
Navarro is my favorite.
Navarro's your favorite? Yeah.
Yeah, just badass, and just like you could tell that she like was gonna be like the lead.
Yeah. And she was like, and it's great that she was, because like we get to represent, like female
Native American,
badass, native
especially
voice.
Yeah, in Alaska, I thought that was cool that they would do that instead of it just being Jodie Foster.
And they went like out of their way to like shoot like all of these, like she's the only like, she definitely is Alaskan native, or no, she's oh man, like Montauk or like East Coast, like Native American native.
Mm-hmm.
She's not Alaskan native, but like having they did like a specific, like they had someone coordinated on the actual set that was literally meant to like coordinate with the native people.
Sorry, the dog was running around chewing a bunch of things.
No, you're all good, dude.
He's like, I got it.
Mark it.
Well, I thought like you were gonna. I'm like, he's gonna keep going on. So like,
I didn't know.
I'm like, I just cut myself out.
Yeah. Well, like I was just saying, like, I think that it's throughout the like, you have Navarro, but you also have all these other women that are just like pretty badass, especially by the end. Badass women, and to be represented in such like a really cool thing to see, because it's one, not a lot of representation for native people or women. So to have that be combined into a kick-ass character like that is definitely like refreshing to see, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that my favorite character is going to be Rose Agano. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah,
she's like a very like secondary character. Yeah. She is my favorite.
She like knows
for
the folklore.
A number of reasons.
She saw. He came to me.
Yeah. She knows things, and I like that she was not well described or like done in depth. I think that she was done better than any character in the whole series, because she's this mysterious person that is left that way. And you're like not sure why exactly like she sees these things and how she knows these things, and like, so this is I'll go into why I love it so much, because like she is technically like, so Travis, who is the guy that shows her where all the dead guys are whatever buried or frozen or whatever, going and doing some research, Travis is Rustin Cole's father from season 1 of True Detective.
Yeah, I saw that with a recap.
Yep.
I didn't catch that from the show, did you?
No, I didn't, and I didn't either. And that's like a deep dive kind of thing that like I caught that from a recap kind of thing. Yeah, but it makes so much sense. I don't know why I didn't make the Alaska connection before. But there's certainly some other things that like just make her an interesting character. She has obviously fucking buried bodies before.
Oh yeah. That's why
when they need to fucking put Hank, like at the very end of it, when Hank needs to go in the water and they're gonna fucking never find him again, even though at the very end Danvers is like, oh yeah, we'll find Hank sometime soon. I don't know what happened with him and the one guy, but we'll find him. We always do. Like straight up, they'll never fucking find him. Because she's like, yep, you need to fucking look away unless you want to see me fucking puncture your father's lungs so that he sinks in the fucking water and never comes back up again.
Yeah. That was
chick is fucking nuts, dude. Yeah.
Baller.
And then like, yeah, she's like New Year's and Christmas has like, or I can't remember if it's New Year's or Christmas, which one it was.
The Ender
has like this massive feast that she's prepared. And she's like, oh yeah, like, I was just, I just do things because I like to do them. I'm going to make this huge platter and I'll not eat most of it, but like there's something about her that is extremely entertaining, extremely intriguing. I want to know more, but like, I don't need to know more. She's someone that like, I can see myself like building lore upon because they just maybe mother-in-law or whatever. And she's a former like writing professor or some kind of professor before she decided to just fucking leave it. And like, she's just one of the more like interesting, underdeveloped, but just developed enough to like let the viewer make up what they want to make up about her. So she was my favorite for sure.
No, that's good.
I wanted to know more, but I didn't need to know more.
Yeah. All right. Who's your least favorite?
Ooh, uh, any man in the show.
Man or
It
beef,
kind of gets into like maybe I think we can like combine what maybe unless you have who's your least favorite.
And I don't know, fucking Hank. That Hank was
I think that
a character that was just like,
my like next question was gonna be like, in terms of writing, like who worked well and or like who didn't work well. And I think that like while the women characters were so strong, dude, there's literally not a good dude in this show.
No. Like, kind of.
They all fucking suck. And they're not developed. Pryor is the only one. Pete.
That's what I was thinking. Pete would probably be the only one that's like...
Maybe Kavik.
Who's Kavik? Oh, is that Homegirl's boyfriend?
It's who Navarro's banging.
Yeah.
They're
That
like the
makes
only
sense.
two characters that have like maybe even some kind of like maybe redeeming qualities, but I wouldn't call them developed at all. They're like very one-dimensional. Even when Pete is faced with the choice of like killing his dad or not, like he has this huge thing before him and it's like not that big of a deal, I feel like.
100%.
I think that I don't know. And I could be biased. Maybe I'm biased that like cuz in the first season of True Detective, you know, like I hate to keep comparing it, but they did this to themselves, I feel like.
They did, exactly.
They want to be compared to the first season. So like when you look at like who the women are in the first season, yes, there's some like weak women, but there's also some very strong women that like take their stand, and you know, there aren't a ton of them in the actual show, but like they contribute towards the story. And like there's nothing really like Pete stands for the most part in this series as like this like I don't want to call it like Deus Ex Machina type thing where like, oh, he just like provides information that like just somehow shows up. It's like, oh, I unlocked her phone. Oh, I found this case. Oh, I found this guy that's also been burned from freezing. And
you're not
like,
asking the right questions.
It's not like a real character. It's not a real character. So I was just wondering, like, if you had a character that didn't work well, I feel like none of the men worked.
No, it makes sense.
They were all super flat characters.
It was definitely like not a priority. They like kind of made Pete and his wife, like the fact that he's like choosing to follow Danvers and not his family, they kind of made that a thing. Or like kind of like looped in him and his dad like not liking each other. Like there's that part where he's just like, hey, when Hank was like, remember when you fell on the ice? I went and got you.
Yeah. And they have these little scenes
I'm your
that
dad.
Yeah.
That's it. You're like, okay, that's it. I guess it was foreshadowing because he was going to shoot him in the fucking head. But
yeah. And also, Danvers is going to fall in the water, and Navarro is going to fucking pull her out of the fucking water.
Exactly.
But yeah, I think that they did a great job developing the primary characters and a really bad job of developing anyone other than Navarro and Danvers. So, I don't know. I think that, like, it's interesting. Do you think the season, like, do you think the True Detective keeps running after this?
Yes.
You do?
Okay. I
Okay.
don't think they're going to end it.
How do you think?
Maybe a couple years. They'll have another one. 100%. Yeah. People are obsessed with murder.
How do you think this next, like, so like Issa Lopez, she like brings this like super unique take of like, you know, she's writing this as like a Native woman's story. How does that change the direction that the series goes in, or what do you think?
I think it just goes completely to a new story again, just like it always has. Maybe a couple tie-ins.
Yeah,
It's never
Yeah,
been the same
okay.
director.
No. Pizzolatto was involved with the first and was production assistant or like, semi-writer on the second season. But it's been a different director and a different writer every season after that. And like, it makes sense. It's all anthological. Do you think that they're doing themselves a disservice by like always going back to the first season? Because the second season is the only one that didn't, and it's easily the worst.
By always going back to the first season, I think they're doing a disservice.
Yeah, man. There's like
by
these
not connecting it enough, or not like making it a full, like not filling in the dots or to that first season. Or I think just having it's a little bit like, but not really. Like I think that's the shooting itself in its foot. Because they're like, hey, this
I
kind
think that
of
you're like
ties.
dead on.
Yeah.
Right? Because like the whole like premise of the first season is that all of this is so much bigger than we know. And so like allowing these other seasons to connect into the first season, like it reinforces the premise of the first season is that like this is way like the first season ends, but it's like it's one guy they get. Right? That's the whole like end of the first seasons. They get one guy out of this whole like cabal of, I guess technically two guys, because they and midway through the season they also definitely kill the one dude, which I thought was like an interesting parallel between this season and the first season, where like, in the first season in episode 4, I can't remember if it's episode 4 where they reveal it in this season, but like straight up they fucking have Matthew McConaughey just fucking walk up and straight up fucking shoot that dude in the fucking face. And then they have to or Woody Harrelson, it's not Matthew McConaughey, it's Woody Harrelson walks up and straight up shoots the dude in the face.
Yeah, and then Matthew McConaughey
they have to make it look
gun, yeah.
Yep. And they have like, it's the whole fucking story of like, yeah, they had us pinned from the moment we showed up, and they recreate this thing, and the same thing, not to the same extent, but the same thing happens in season 4. And I think that like, so it just continues my reinforcement of like, it's the same thing, you just invert it, and it's under the ground instead of above the ground.
Oh, and also it's like, okay, this is the lady
It's
version.
in the ice.
This is 2 women doing it, not 2 men. So it's different. Yeah. I thought it was a weird, or it was just like a boring way to tie it together. Or maybe like you said, maybe it's a bigger world than we think. But they're taking their sweet ass time.
I think it is, what is your thought? Like, I don't even have this written down, but like, what is your thought on like the spiral? Like, what does that mean to you?
I don't have the size clue. Like literally, I thought it was the cult from episode or from season 1. I thought it was just like the cult's thing that they worship. I did see a lot of it like going to like H.P. Lovecraft. And like that's where they got that's where they got all their motivation for that whole thing. So I think about that. But yeah, they haven't really done a definitive like explanation at all to it, and I think they're trying to make it mysterious. But I think it'd be cool if they like put some sort of tie into it and like let us know a little bit about it to keep us intrigued, I guess. Because either like
for sure.
I guess either way we're gonna watch it. And we're gonna want we're gonna, but it doesn't mean I'm like 100% invested. Does that make sense?
Right, but this is not a season 2 though, right?
Yeah, no, I thought this was better than season 2.
I thought this was. I thought it was. I thought it was good. I thought it was better. Yeah, for sure. I would rank this in the number 2 out of the 4.
Yes. I agree with you completely.
So So you were talking about like the Lovecraft connection and all that. So they open the whole series with that quote. Did you see this?
Yes.
The quote from the woman who is technically not a real character. She is a story from Robert Chambers, The King in Yellow, who is just, it's the whole story is like about this woman who is obsessed with this play that is about these people who are obsessed with this king who rules over this world of, technically it's not defined, but like Carcosa, which is like the huge thing in the first season. And Carcosa, I think, is not necessarily a real place, obviously, but it is 100% like a theme, or like a dissolved place. Something that has existed before that is crumbling. And this, it's not even from, I'm pretty sure the Venture into Carcosa is an Ambrose Bierce poem about this guy who is like walks through this veil and he's able to view this like city that is crumbling, even though the city in front of him like is not, so he's able to see through this weird veil into a crumbling city. And I think that like it's really interesting to have that be represented again. And like listening to this whole interview with Issa Lopez, like she's 100% in on the Carcosa thing. She's like, no, like the spiral represents this thin veil between reality and magic, or monsters or supernatural. And I think that earlier I was like somewhat complaining about how we have all these things that we don't know, but she's like kind of taking an easy way out, was saying like, hey, like it's Carcosa, it's the spiral, it's this unknown thing, this entity that kind of takes over. And I don't know, what do you think about like the supernatural aspect? I know that you've like weighed in a little bit on it, but like, do you think that it's real supernatural, or is it just in everyone's head?
I think it's just being played back in everyone's head. I think it's Navarro's like psyche, like it being and telling her that. But also, so it doesn't explain the fact that her sister literally just fucking takes her clothes off and then just goes and kills herself and freezes. Right. And she says the voices are speaking to her. So we don't know that part. So maybe she is seeing things, and she's the only one that sees stuff. Correct. So, other than Rose, I think Danvers,
they all see
Danvers,
things,
like,
dude.
Feels something on her shoulder when she's like laying in bed.
Oh, dude, there's a lot of instances of people seeing things. Danvers sees some things. She sees like, the polar bears are obviously like, the polar bear's not real.
Those are real. The polar bear's real.
Not the one-eyed polar bear, dude. That is a 100% magical manifestation, or a manifestation of trauma. And I think that like kind of gets to the point that I'm trying to make, is like the magic comes from your experience. Right? You're not like, whether it's real or not, we'll never know. But what you experience is real. So like if Navarro is seeing fucking, the one dude sit up in his bed and point at her and say like, she is awake kind of thing. Like the she is awake thing, to me, sells this as there's something else going on.
Yeah, okay.
Because it happens over and over and over again. There's something that is.
Well, I thought they explained that she's awake was Annie at the end.
Yeah, but how could it be Annie? She's been dead for 6 years.
I thought that's what they explained at the last episode, was he was referring to Annie when he says she's awake.
Yeah, and it is. It's Annie to him. Like it's in his head.
Oh.
But like that is the manifestation of like these magical thoughts is like whether they're all fucking poisoned and so they're having hallucinations, there's something happening in these people's minds and their perception that is shaping the world around them to experience, in my opinion, like the most magical of the seasons, to where there's some supernatural things happening that we can't explain.
Yes. Okay. No, I get that.
Right? Are there any like unexplained things, speaking of which, that like we need to address that maybe one of us has the answers for?
So the only thing that like literally hits me in the head is that I haven't already mentioned is Navarro's sister.
Right. Yeah, I mean like, and that one, like, I don't know. I feel like maybe
Just
that's
crazy.
just like, yeah, I mean, she's obviously struggling with mental illness and like, you know, I don't know. We don't know what happens.
Yeah.
And like,
That's the only thing
this
I can think
hits
about.
more home than I expected this conversation to, but like, fuck, man, we don't know what the fuck happens in people's minds when they're feeling that way, but like,
Exactly.
it happens. And, you know, I think that there's also, you know, yeah, something that drives people to do things that like maybe are outside of character. Navarro seems to think that she's cursed and that it's going to come for her no matter what.
Yeah, that's
We don't even know what happens to what happens to her at the end. Like, does she die?
No, and there's that whole part where like Danvers has her snap out of like walking in the cave.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'm trying to like think about things in my head that I can, like don't remember too much about it at this point of drinking.
Yeah. Right. I think that so like, but like my question is like, yeah, like speaking of the end of the show, like we see Navarro just walking off into the distance.
Mm-hmm.
Like into the, but like it's not necessarily night anymore. It's actually like
It's day,
looks like early morning
like
kind of thing.
dusky.
But yeah, it's day. Yeah. What is that? Like is she going to, like, you know, Devers is like, hey, are you like, you can go, but like come back. Sorry, not Devers, Danvers. She's like, you can go, but like you have to come back. And we see the very end of the show. They're like Danvers is sitting on the porch on one side, and then there's, you know, a curtain that, or like, you know, there's certainly a divide between where she is and then Navarro's outside to the right, and they don't acknowledge each other. Is that real? Does Navarro just walk off into the, I mean, it doesn't matter if it's dead of night or if it's daylight out, it's still fucking -30 out there. She's gonna fucking die.
Yeah. I guess I didn't even think about that. I think I was like, all right, it's over. I was kind of pissed off about how it ended, so I didn't even pay attention to this.
Yeah, were we upset? Yeah, we'll come back to this. Were you upset about the ending?
Yeah, I was.
Why?
I thought it was clever. It was like,
you wanted monsters, though, is what your thing was.
I did. I wanted it to finally happen. I wanted it to explain what the whole mystere and shit was. I wanted a Native American like ghost, right, but and shit. It wasn't. It was just.
It's not that well explained, though, right?
No, they're like, oh,
like they go out there.
It was just those.
But like, how are they fucking buried like fucking 5 feet in the snow? Their heads are sticking up. That's how they're found.
It's because of the blizzard. It was a crazy ass blizzard, and I assume that's when the cleaning ladies planned it to march him out there. Yeah, what do you feel? Did you enjoy it?
I think that there is. I don't know. I'm not a spiritual person, but like I like to believe that there's something magical, and it's why I like this season so much. I think it's why I would rate it higher than the third season, because like there's like some weird magical thinking that is going on that that explains the things that can't be explained, I guess. And how, like, you know, when the females, they put the spiral on the one guy's head, and they like mention like this is to signify like either you will be taken or you will be okay.
Yeah.
But you are now marked to be decided upon.
Yeah.
The veil, like the spiral is this symbol that brings people, like it takes people from one realm to another. The veils are like, it signifies we're like literally we're in between different realms.
Mm-hmm.
They used to put the, like, you know, in the show they talk about like, oh yeah, they used to stack rocks in a spiral where the ice got thin. You know, it signifies this thin veil between realities. And I think that, you know, the spiral continues to be that, where like, you know, in the first season, Carcosa is this place that is not real, but you can look upon it through this weird glass that they mention. And like this weird old school early 1900s lore that this guy is walking through this torn down city that's not actually torn down, but he can see the future of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's this veil that has become thin, and by drawing the mark on this guy's forehead, maybe it just signifies like he's, you know, he's venturing out, like we talked about earlier, into the dark, and the decision is upon, you know, whatever decides who lives and who dies. It's up to them at that point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I didn't think or look at it like that. I think I was just kind of pissed off that it wasn't spelled out for me. That's what I wanted. I didn't want to do that much thinking.
But you couldn't expect it to be.
No. Nope. I wanted it to be, though. I wanted to have some sort
that's like,
of...
but that's...
Yeah, you're right.
That's the thing with True Detective, dude. You don't get your answers. And it's why, like, I can still go back. And I think it's why, like, these series have, like, better rewatch ability than probably most TV shows. Like, 9 out of 10 TV shows. Because you can go back and you can cherry pick, oh, like, ooh, I saw this little thing in the corner of this one scene that, like, gives me an indication towards something that maybe wasn't explained directly in the show.
Yeah, like everything
and
I was
that's
watching,
always been their thing.
All the recaps I was watching, like, showed you like the king crown from the H.G. Wells book, The Yellow King. It shows you like throughout this whole season, like where it's at. Like shows you on the chalkboard of the teacher.
Interesting. I have not seen that. That's crazy.
Shows it like
see, I need to go watch that stuff.
And
from The King in Yellow?
Yeah.
In Lovecraft?
Yeah, it shows you it like at Pete's house, like above the crab.
No shit.
His house is like a little yellow king and stuff.
Really?
Like breaks down the lighthouse. Like it shows you like where these like lighthouses and shit are, like throughout the whole season, and what they mean.
Man, that's so cool. Because like, yeah, and that's just like, you can tell that like HBO is like, hey, it's a separate series, but it needs to be the same story.
Mm-hmm.
All of these things are existing within the same world, and it's what season 2 fucked up, is that they said, hey, we're not going to be in that world, and everything after that, like, props to fucking Nick Pizzolatto for creating this world that literally can't be stepped out of.
Mm-hmm.
Everything has to be related to it, and it's the world that we live in today.
Yeah,
which is the crazy part. He created this totally fictional place that feels more real than the world we live in.
Why?
Because going back to what we talked about earlier in this episode, like, we have this whistleblower who is trying to like call out Boeing for using fucking faulty parts on their planes, and straight up he dies the fucking second he testifies. Like, this is the kind of stuff that, like, it's real and it happens, and you can dramatize it as much as you want, but it feels real and it feels more important.
Yeah,
and
I get that.
Whoa. I don't know. There's just something interesting about that.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, we're back again. Check it, select it, let's begin. Having a whole bunch of technical difficulties, but we're back and that's cool. So here's Peter going right back in. Then, yeah, something about skin.
I'm a piece of seaweed.
Okay. At that point, final or finishing touches. Do you have anything final that you want to say about it other than you think it was the second best? You definitely think that it's continuing the same True Detective by being mysterious and never giving you answers. And that's why it'll continue to have another seasons upon seasons.
I honestly don't know if they'll do more seasons.
You think they're done?
I think they might be. Only for the fact that I think from what I've seen, people are fucking so upset about this season. Like,
really?
I don't know if you've got, like, I don't know if you check this out, but like YouTube, like literally everyone's just ripping on it, and it's because it's not the first season, and like it's just not a fair comparison. It can be a good season without being the first season.
Yeah, exactly. I think people just got their hopes up. Like I said, I got my hopes up. Nothing's ever the same as, like, there's not many sequels that are better other than like Terminator 2 obviously was better than the original. Maybe Back to the Future 2.
I think it's true story. I've never seen any of the Back to the Futures.
Why not?
I don't know. I just haven't. I think I'd like them. It's not like I'm not opposed to it. I'm just like, I don't know. Fucking haven't gotten around to it.
Hey, have you seen Back to the Future?
Anyways, hopefully all this stuff that we recorded saved, because that'd be really cool.
We gotta do this again, and our girlfriend's gonna be so mad.
It'd be really cool if all the stuff that we recorded saved, because we had a good conversation about.
Yeah, I'm sure we're gonna get a bunch of it.
Season 4, but I hope so. But
right, in closing,
I don't know. What do
you have homework
closing
for me,
out?
Sir?
Well, I just want you to give me like a full-on like rating for season 4 of True Detective. All right, you have 0 to 10 Lone Star beers you drink to this show.
I don't drink Lone Star, so like
you suck, dude. Just drink them.
Okay, you're
drinking
Lone
something
Stars
snooty over there.
Yeah, well, no, I'm drinking a Modelo. I don't want to drink Lone Stars just because Matthew McConaughey did.
Lone Star Old Milwaukee, nothing snooty.
Okay, I'm gonna give this. I would drink 6 Lone Stars to this.
6?
Yeah,
I'd agree with that. Yeah. I'll say 6, 6.5.
Yeah,
6.5 stars
for sure.
Lone Stars.
Lone Stars. You're gonna leave a wounded
and maybe a
soldier out
cigarette.
there. You're gonna leave.
Yeah, I'll probably leave one for sure.
You're gonna leave. You're gonna drink
I'll
that
drink it
half of
tomorrow.
the beer in the morning. All right, respect.
Yeah, I'll drink it tomorrow. Yeah, I work in the morning, so it's not at all. I think it's a great show. I think I don't know. I think that's 6 is a low. I'm gonna go with a 7. I'm gonna drink 7 Lone Stars to this show.
C's get degrees, dude. She passes.
Yep.
I still think it's a 6. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
But man, I think that it was good. It started off extremely strong. It didn't close as strong as I had hoped, but I liked the fact that it was not like there were lots of things that were left unexplained, and it leaves the True Detective in me to go kind of figure some things out. And I hope, the first season, left things unexplained that you could find out. And I hope that by going back and rewatching, I can find these answers out. I don't know why her tongue was just left there. No one knows.
They didn't explain it.
We don't get any answer on that. We don't get any answer on what actually happened with Danvers and her kid. We don't get any answer on what actually happened with Navarro. We don't get any answer on. I'm missing something else that we have like. No, Pete didn't go to jail.
If Pete goes, we'll go or get in trouble for Hank.
Nah, he's fine. You can see like they do the interview at the end, and like he like brings her coffee and stuff like that. There's no way he's going to jail. Yeah, I think we wrapped this one up. I think we did a pretty. I mean, hopefully it all loads, but I think we did a really solid discussion.
Yeah, we'll find out tomorrow.
Maybe a little less substantive, but more visceral and emotional reactions to things. But
more hammering.
Good.
It's okay, dude.
Good show, dude.
Let your little heart flow. Do you have anything? So I have to. What do I have to watch? What? Love and Slander.
It's Lover, Stalker, Killer, I think. Let me look it up again.
And you've seen it?
It's the same thing I told you. Yeah. It's the most insane story I've ever heard.
Really?
Yeah.
It's not like that one where
I spelled it Lover, Stanker, Killer.
What a stanker!
It's like farting a bunch.
It's not that one.
What a little stanker.
Where that kid or where that couple gets pinned as the like Gone Girl.
Nope.
Or trying to be a real life Gone Girl.
American
that was
Nightmare.
American. Yeah. So this one's better.
Haven't seen that yet.
Okay.
Don't know. Haven't seen
Octopus Riders? I just watched that on Netflix. Speaking of the Bowen guy, don't watch it.
What do I need to watch? Tell me.
I want to say next week.
So Lover, Stalker, Killer is like a documentary movie. It's not a whole show because they're not bullshit.
Yeah,
they're gonna get straight. They could have made this a show. They honestly should. It's a crazy fucking story.
So it's inspired by a true story.
No. It's a documentary movie. It's not a series though. It's like an hour and a half long.
I still want to watch that like dark, mysterious movie. You have to pay for it though.
Like what is like? It's not. So Damien's reading this like I don't even want to call it like a young adult like horror book, but it's like a kid's horror book called Deep, Dark, and Dangerous, and it's not that, but it sounds a lot like that. You're talking about the one in like the national parks.
Yeah, like a lovely dark.
You're looking it up. I'm just gonna let you look it up.
Okay, thank you. I just typed in a lovely dark, and deep. Ooh, rated really bad. Rotten Tomatoes, it's an 89. IMDb is a 4.7.
That's really good. That's not rated bad.
Rotten Tomatoes is like a 90, but IMDb rating is 4.7 out of 10.
Out of 10? Oh shit.
Should we rent?
Yeah.
Spend the $4 to rent that. I'd be into it.
What's it called?
Lovely, Dark,
and Deep or something?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's called Lovely, Dark, and Deep.
All right.
I was also looking up to see when Immaculate comes out, but it's not till next Friday.
Is there anything in the theaters that we can
That's what I just said. You're not listening. Immaculate comes out
Is
next
it in
Friday.
the theater?
Next Friday.
Oh, okay.
It's got that big titty lady that everyone's really obsessed about right now.
Sydney Sweeney.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Exactly what I was talking about. Yeah. You knew exactly what I was talking about.
I don't know why, but there was like some dumb thing I saw on Instagram today. It was like a Slate article that was like Sydney Sweeney's boobs are not that big. And like the number one comment was like 20 million votes was like, you, sir, are incorrect.
Yeah, no shit. Those are very big boobs. You want to hear something funny that we can laugh about?
Tell me. Tell me more. Tell me more.
So when I kept hearing buzzing and stuff from my microphone the entire podcast, and you heard it too?
Yeah, I heard it.
I figure out where it's coming from.
Is your phone buzzing on the floor?
No, my phone was on top of my Focusrite. And the chips were like either making love or like talking to each other, but that was like creating that fuzz and friction. So I just took my phone off of it, and it stopped. So that's fun.
So pumped for us about that.
I'll be all right. Well, fuck it, dude. Fuck everyone. We did it, dude. They either want to hear us or they don't.
Well, man, I really hope this episode loads because, like, my upload is super slow.
Yeah, I don't want to do it again.
And
all right. So we got our 2 things. We can talk after this.
Yep.
So we got our 2 things. We got our homework. Do you want to tell us what we're going to do for next episode? Do you have anything, Mr. Journalist Pete? Private Eye Pete? What are we doing?
Well, first off, definitely homework for the little students out there, the Drunken Demonic students. We are going to be watching Deep, Dark, and Dangerous. No, that's not it. It's
A Lovely, Dark, and Deep.
Lovely, Dark, and Deep. Same fucking thing. As well as Lover, Stalker, Killer.
Yes, a lot movies about love.
Cool. It's the most crazy story I've ever heard, dude.
Really?
You're gonna be like, I can't believe I haven't heard about this before.
You should watch the Playboy Murders on HBO because that's also fun. Don't do it for this.
Okay, I'll check that one out. I saw that today.
It's very annoying.
But next series we're going to be covering is going to be the case of Paul Ingram and the Thurston County sexual assault cases. We're going to deep dive into, Satanic Panic, cult activity, the devil, a lot of God,
Jesus.
and repressed memory. So if you want to just like type those into your search bar and see what comes up, those are all super fun things. And that's what we're going to cover for our next episode.
Awesome. Well, with that being said, thank you so much for listening. We love you, but we're not in love with you. Please follow us on all the sorts of things. Please watch our videos so we can make this our day job someday. So I can stop begging on the streets saying we'll podcast for cash or we'll helicopter dick for cash.
PhD, my guy.
PhD. And make sure to closing notes. Make sure to drink down.
Hey guys, we also should mention 100% if we fuck things up, because we will, please let us know so that we can correct them in the next episodes. I think that it's certainly worthwhile for you guys to be like, hey, you definitely got this wrong. We can correct the record. That way we're not just totally liable for it for the rest of our lives for being wrong. So we'd appreciate that.
We're going to be wrong.
We want to make things right. We're wrong all the time. Definitely let us know when we're wrong.
Yep.
All
right.
And
yeah. You got more?
Feel free to like hit us up if you guys have some good ideas for what we should cover. We'd love to hear some cool stories.
True that.
We'll talk about them.
Let's fucking do it, dude. I love talking.
Hell yeah, dude.
All right,
that's what we do for not living, for fun at this point.
That's what we do till the cows come home. All right, dude. I'll talk to you later.
Till they moo.
Bye.
Slaters.